Let's speak now to Ghadi Karmi. She's a Palestinian academic and research fellow at the Institute of Arab and Islamic Studies at the University of Exeter. Thank you very much, Ghadi, for joining us here on the program. We've been talking about the October 7 attacks, but also, of course, the ongoing tragedy for the Palestinian people. We've been showing the live images coming out of Gaza today, which is just completely under rubble.
Exactly. I must first of all make comment about the affecting introduction you've just shown us about the sad loss of Israeli families, with which I totally sympathize. However, where are the pictures of the thousands of Palestinian families who've lost everything? They've lost family members, they've lost their lives, they've lost their homes. Where are the photos of those people? Secondly, you talk about memorials that have been set up in Israel for the hostages. That I also understand. The people of Gaza cannot set up memorials because they're being bombed and killed as we're speaking now. Now, let me tell you, I am never been under any illusion as to the true nature of the Israeli state. How could I? I am a victim of the creation of Israel in 1948. My family was forced out of our home in Jerusalem by the creation of the state of Israel. We have never been allowed back, and I have lived in exile ever since. So I've no illusions about Israel's brutality and criminality. But I must tell you that the last year has taken my breath away. I never thought that I would see such monstrous cruelty, such slaughter of innocent Palestinian civilians as we've seen in the last 12 months. I can't believe that Gaza has been so decimated. It's uninhabitable. Its hospitals have been destroyed, its mosques, its schools, its universities. This sort of level of destructiveness and inhumanity on the part of Israel and its army is something I cannot, and nobody should excuse or justify by what happened during the Hamas attack on Israel on October 7th.
Yes, and Ghadi, we're looking right now at live images coming out of Gaza and the level of devastation and destruction. We've been talking about the 41,000 people who have been killed and, of course, over 90,000 that have been left injured. I mean, Israel, we have seen the destruction of Gaza in the past, but never at this level, not at this scale.
Absolutely not. And by the way, for those apologists for Israel, who, amazingly enough, still exist, I can't believe there are people left who can defend Israel after all this. For all those people, I would reiterate, there is no justification for genocide, none. However much Israel was injured and hurt and angry about the Hamas attacks on October 7th, that is no justification for the genocidal war they have conducted against innocent civilians ever since. And they're doing it in Lebanon as well as we speak. So, you know, the question has to be, okay, let's start again. Israel's criminality and brutality is something that Palestinians have lived with since Israel's creation in 1948. And I'm a living witness to that. Okay, but almost even more inexplicable is the fact that there are states today, individuals, groupings, which support Israel. How can you support a state which does this to other people? What is that support based on? You know very well as I do, that Israel could not wage these wars without the United States. The United States is a partner. It's not just
you know, And there's been a lot of criticism of the United States for its lack of leadership and for saying that they can't actually pressure Israel in this moment. But Ghada, I just wanted to ask you, because there are so many people in this country who feel the pain of what happened on October 7. They say they're a small country and they know someone who was either killed or held hostage and impacted by what happened on October 7. There are many people here who have lost family members, their children, and they say that, you know, the only way they see out of this situation is for this war to be continued and prosecuted. Do you understand the situation from their perspective, from the people who have lost children, brothers, mothers and sisters as a result of October 7?
Listen, I can understand their distress. I can understand their sense of tragedy and sadness. Of course, I can understand that. But revenge that goes on for 12 months and leads to the killing of over 40,000 Palestinians, most of whom are civilians, women, children. I mean, when does this revenge end? When do these grieving people in Israel feel that enough is enough? That is the bit that I don't understand. And I go back again to the supporters of this genocide. The Western states, including Britain and Germany and France and Italy and so on, who support the state of Israel, who arm it, who help to shield it from criticism. This is something that we all should take notice of. We all should worry about, because Israel, apart from killing Palestinians, has killed international law. It has killed the norms of international behavior. And you know how serious that is. Because if you don't have a system of law, which we've lived by since the end of the Second World War, then what do you have? A jungle where might is the weakest, and that's what we're seeing at this moment. I cannot understand why this is not a focus for people's anxieties and worries, but rather the fact that Israel is a little state and it's surrounded by enemies. This propaganda, which we have heard, frankly, only since I was born. And that brings me...
I just wanted to ask you, Ghada, because Israel and Israelis have felt under attack. But I just want to ask you, do you think in your lifetime we will see a two-state solution?
No, I don't. No, I don't. And I hope we don't see a two-state solution. And I'll tell you why. Because the two-state solution, which is never going to happen, the two-state solution divides the country of Palestine unevenly, inequitably. It gives 20%, 22% to the original inhabitants, people like me, and 78% it reserves for Israel. So that's not fair to start with. However, secondly, and much more immediately, if you know, the people who support the two-state solution have clearly never looked at a map. Just have a look at the map of today's Palestine-Israel. You will see that there is literally no territory which has not got Israeli settlements on it. And therefore, you've got to ask yourself, where would you set up the Palestinian state? Where would it be? Nobody confronts this question. They just prattle on about the two-state solution. Now, you could ask me, okay, so if not a two-state solution, well then what would you like to see? I'll tell you what I'd like to see. I would like to see an end to the current situation, of course, immediately. Secondly, I'd like to see the Israeli regime called to account, hauled up before the international Court of Justice, the International Criminal Court, which it is currently they're considering cases against Israel. I would like to see that, but at the end of the day, we have no choice. We Palestinians and Jewish Israelis We must live together. There is no other way. We have to live together, but not like this, as master and slave, rather as equal citizens in a democratic state, which
Ghada,
should replace the current Israeli state.
Ghada, Ghada Karmi, thank you very much for joining us here on the programme, sharing your thoughts.